Hi, I'm Sylviaworsham. Welcome to Focus Fridays and welcome to this segment on gaining clarity in times of adversity. I don't know about you, but COVID-19 has been probably one of the major turning points of my life. It was my opportunity to pivot in new directions for my career, and it was a time when external factors were completely removed, external distractions were removed, and we were able to turn inward for the answers that we were seeking in our careers, in our mindset, in our relationships, and some of us, most importantly, in our health. So what this video is meant to do is to give you some ideas, some of the aha moments that came to me during this time of adversity, because when stress is involved, a lot of these beliefs, a lot of these patterns of behavior, these habits will arise. They will rise up to the surface and give you the information that you need that will finally make it click for you. And I don't know about you, but sometimes as much as we read and as much as we seek podcasts and we hear podcasts and you get all this information, and finally there comes a moment where there's a click that goes off in your head and you finally realize what it is that's been holding you back. A lot of what I coach on is on the natural laws, and there's one law that has been so instrumental to me in getting that click in my head, and that is applying the law of reflection in my life. And the law of reflection simply states pausing to allow growth to catch up to you. How you pause on a daily basis is entirely up to you. Some people meditate, some people journal, some people pray. In my case, my journaling has been so instrumental in finally allowing me to quiet my mind to a point where the click can occur and that aha moment occurs. So for me, the first aha moment was giving myself permission to have it all. It was evident to me that there was something that was missing, something that was holding me back all these years since becoming an empowerment coach in 2017. And the aha moment came just one morning in reflection when it was so evident to me that my shame and guilt had been holding me back from really stepping into uncertainty and really fulfilling my role as a coach and going for it all in my career. Because what had happened after my divorce was the way it had been handled was really something that brought me a lot of shame and guilt. Because at the time, being as conscious aware as at the time that I had never been coached. I had never become a coach at that time. I didn't understand how the unconscious mind worked and how the limiting beliefs of I'm not enough had really driven me to strive to get there, and that meant to get success no matter the cost. And what happened was that my son was kind of left behind in the divorce. I took care of him as best as I could, but I could have been there more. And in going back and looking back at that time and reflecting during COVID-19, that's where the aha moment of, holy moly, my shame and guilt has really been keeping me from having it all. As women, we can have it all. We really can. It's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of prioritizing your life. And for me, family is the most important. So being able to create a life that I love was the biggest aha moment of this COVID-19 crisis, was that I have created the circumstance to live a life I love in balance with my children and in balance with the family that I so love. The second thing that came up was, in times of stress, as we've discussed in previous episodes, patterns will show up in a very powerful way. And it's really up to you to decide what you're going to do with that pattern. Are you going to feed that pattern in a negative way? Or are you simply going to acknowledge that pattern, thank it, and say goodbye? Arrivederci, a bientôt, like we would say in French. Just let it go. The habit was that in all the stories that I would share with you, I would share from the victim perspective. Well, the victim perspective and the pattern of behavior of a victim was so ingrained in me. It was a total blind spot, and it came up and it finally clicked when an accountability partner pointed it out to me, that most of my stories were told from the victim perspective. Well, as a coach, what we want to empower you to navigate through that change with clarity and purpose, but also with confidence and not from the victim perspective. So And that was an enormous aha moment for me that just really made a huge difference in the way now these stories will be shared. And the third and final thing was in having all this time, it really allowed me the opportunity to start working on my book. And the book is going to be written about all the turning points in navigating out of adversity in my life and in the life of other empowered women that their stories will be shared in the book. But what it also allowed me to see was to see my own value and to believe in my capacity once more. Because when you transition in life, when you go through these major transitions, sometimes you lose that belief in yourself and you question that belief. And during this amazing time of reflection, it suddenly dawned on me by writing this book and putting all my experience down on paper, just how valuable my experience is and how it can be to empower other women like myself who have transitioned out of adverse times in our lives, but to do it now with clarity, with purpose, and with confidence. And that's something that was so amazing. I had created a habit of not valuing my worth. And that was such an aha moment. So I'm certain, and my hope and my desire for you is that this time of reflection will be your time to allow your mind to finally make that click it needs to make so that you can move and navigate out of that change with clarity, confidence, and purpose. I'm Sylvia Worsham. I'm your host of this segment on finding clarity in times of adversity. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. I love y'all.